Hello, I'm Starthinker. Welcome back to another edition of Knee Jerk Reaction Video Reviews. Now, I'm going to say a few things. First of all, this isn't exactly a knee jerk reaction review this time. I watched the movie late last night and I fell asleep. I woke up, took a shower, and now I'm doing a review. So it's not minutes after the movie, it's a couple hours after the movie. But I haven't done anything in between, so it's okay. Another thing is, I noticed on some of my other video reviews, people posted, oh, there's spoilers in here. And I'm pretty sure I say before every review, I discuss the movie. And if I accidentally let a spoiler slip, so be it. I don't have any qualms with spoilers myself. I don't care if I see spoilers before I go see a movie. So if I talk about a movie and I say something like, oh, and it was so cool when I found out Bruce Willis was dead the whole time, well, you've been warned. I may let some spoilers slip out, or I might say, oh, that scene where he punched him and his rib came out of the back, and so I might get excited and say something like that. But I do try not to, but things might slip out. So today's review is The Blair Witch. Now, this is not to be confused with The Blair Witch Project, which was a found footage film. Now, I had a discussion last night about found footage films. The original Blair Witch Project was found footage. It was supposedly, I know it's not real, but supposedly they found the recorder with the VHS tape in there, and this is what they played on the VHS tape, so it's found footage. Now, this one isn't found footage. It's like documentary style. It's people with cameras attached to their heads, and you're seeing what they see. You're seeing what their cameras are recording. There's no third-person cameraman. So it's called a found footage film, but I'm nitpicking here. It's not really a found footage film unless someone went around and picked up all the cameras, because they had 6, 7, 8, at least 12 cameras recording throughout the film. Anyway, so found footage is dubious. But this Blair Witch is not to be confused with the original Blair Witch Project, nor is it to be confused with the Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows. I can't even remember if I saw that. It was a long time ago. But this is Blair Witch. It came out in 2016. And given that I hated the original Blair Witch, I thought, not that I hated found footage or anything about that, but I just thought it was boring and nothing happened. And the only scary part was at the end when, they showed the guy standing in the corner. But this found footage, well, this movie, I got to stop calling it found footage. This movie is about the brother of the original woman in The Blair Witch. So it's her brother. He finds a YouTube video that is supposedly found footage, and he goes off to, he believes his sister is still alive after, what's it been, 20 years, 15 years, I think. So he believes his sister is still alive. He's going to go and see if he can try to find her. He enlists the aids of his friends. He finds the person, and I think, and again, it's all kind of fuzzy because I did fall asleep right after, but I think it was he enlisted the aids of the guy that uploaded the YouTube video and his girlfriend. And they all, the 6 of them, I can't believe she found a way to jump up here. And the 6 of them go off to find his sister. Now, they go into the original woods and they have the original problems of the Blair Witch. But it turns out the 2 people that made the YouTube video were faking it. And, alright, I did give a big spoiler away. But it comes out in the movie. You're going to see it anyway. So, anyway, things happen. This is more realistic than the original Blair Witch. It wasn't really bad camera angles. There were better camera angles. You could figure out what was going on. I'm going to pause here. Oh, no, I don't have to pause any second. So, sorry. There was, it's better filmed. It's better acted. you would even recognize some of the actors. One of the actresses is from The Tick, the Amazon show. But it was just better to watch. Again, it's shaky cam. It's their cameras were mounted on the side of their heads, so it's very shaky, and you know, it's all this kind of stuff. But the best way to describe this movie is to say, like, have you ever had one of those dreams where you can't open your eyes and you're scared, but like no matter how hard you try, you can't open your eyes and you want to see what's going on, or you're just opening them a little bit? That's what this movie was like, because there were scary things going on, and you're like, why doesn't someone look at the scary thing so we can see what's going on? That kind of drove me crazy, and I know they were, to some people, that adds to the suspense. But you know, they hear a noise, and instead of like looking where the noise is, you know, because it's all phone, you know, it's all handheld cameras, they're looking all around. So you're like, look in the direction of the noise so we can kind of maybe see what's going on. But what I would like to say, it's not a slasher flick, but there are some very mysterious things going on. Oh god, there's this one scene, and see, I was bored, like, because horror movies don't horrify me, and I went up to this one point where I mean, I'm trying not to give spoilers away, but this woman breaks a twig, and that was probably the best scene in the whole movie. I was just like, whoa, and that's when the movie caught my attention. And that's when things like really started to get wild. And so it is a good, I'm going to say it's a good movie. It's a good horror movie. I'm going to recommend it. It does add to the mythology of this Blair Witch thing, because I know there's, like, you know, it's an in-universe mythology of the Blair Witch, and they explain it more, and they kind of give it more of a backstory, and there's a time travel element. You know, it finishes where it starts, and that kind of makes a loop, and you know, I just love it when there's like this little mysterious time travel thing. And I don't know, it does explain some of the mythology better. There is one thing that bothered me, and one thing that I really hate, and that's the first half of the movie relied heavily on jump scares. And I'm not saying that the second half, the jump scares were kind of useful, so to speak, but the first half is like jump scares for no reason. I hate that. I think that's a cheap trick. You know, it doesn't horrify me, it just pisses me off, because okay, you startled me, fine, you know, I get startled, I don't care, but I wasn't horrified, I wasn't scared. This movie didn't put me in the mood for like the first half until that one scene at the campground. And when you watch the movie, you'll know what scene I mean. But yeah, it's like, okay, there's no reason to have a jump scare. There's people talking outside, boom, a jump scare. And then, okay, they're walking in the woods, and they're like, oh, did you hear that? And they look around, boom, jump scare. And you know it's coming, and it's just nothing you can do about it. And again, I think that's a cheap tactic, and I hate it when movies do that, unless there's a reason for it. I mean, sometimes there is a reason for a jump scare. And in the second half, they use jump scares more logically. And they touched on a lot of things in horror movies. You know, it's like, if you had a checklist of what makes a movie horrible, this movie, you could check off a lot of things. And it wasn't that it flowed too. I mean, it's not like they said, okay, let's make a really claustrophobic scene. It's like there was a logical reason for the claustrophobic scene, and it's like, okay, let's make this scene of something in the background, but there was a logic. I mean, it just flowed good, and I think that comes down to good writing. And I just, you know, I'm a big fan of good writing. Of course, we all are, because that means we're entertained. But yeah, I think it was, the way it flowed was well written. Shaky cam, you know, this movie would have worked as just a movie, as just a third-person camera, you know, not this found footage type thing. It would have worked as a regular movie, I think. And adding the shaky cam just puts another layer on it. So that said, that just to me says that okay, that was well written. And one of the things about the shaky cam, if it was filmed as a normal movie, there wouldn't be as many jump scares. Because a lot of the jump scares were just people turning with their camera, and having something be right there, and then have a music, bong, or a loud noise. There wasn't music, but there was like lots of loud noises, like sudden quiet, now sudden gunshot, or sudden quiet, now something's ripped. That ripping sound that. And I think they intentionally lower the voices so that you would turn your TV up so that the jump scares are even worse. And again, I hate that. I just hate it. It's like, okay, you got me, fine. I jumped. But it doesn't mean it was a horrifying movie. It means you startled me. And I just think that's cheap. And I have no love for that unless there was a logical reason. And like I said, the second half had logical reasons. So yeah, stick with it. If you start watching this movie and you're like, this is so boring, these characters are not developing, blah 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 blah, just stick with it. And there were some cliches, but they were overlooked easily. But the writing I thought was good, the acting was good, the story was good. And for me, and I made this claim yesterday, I was like, horror movies just don't horrify me. They don't scare me. I don't lose sleep over horror movies. But this is one of those movies where if I go camping now, this movie's going to be in my head. And when I zip up my tent, I'm going to be like, do you remember that Blair Witch project from 2016? That's going to be in my head. That to me shows that it was a good movie. The fact that I was entertained shows a good movie, and I've said this through all my other video reviews. If I'm entertained, it was a good movie, regardless of what. I was entertained. This is going to stick with me. I love some of the horror moments that they did. Not a fan of the jump scares, but still, everything else more than makes up for it. I'm going to recommend this movie. I give it... let's see. I don't have a rating system. I make it up per movie. So I think this one gives it... like 5 stick figures. How's that? 5 out of 5. Full rating. 2 thumbs up. 5 stick figures. I do recommend this movie, Blair Witch. It's on several. It was on Amazon, and it was on. I think it was free for Amazon Prime. It might have been free. I don't know, but it's on Hulu or Netflix. It's on one of the streaming sites. One of the either Hulu or Netflix. So it's out there. You can watch it without having to, go to the theaters or buy it somewhere. Good movie, good actors. Recommend it. I'm going to wrap this up. My name is Starthinker. Don't forget to go to Amazon. Look up my name, Randy Pischel. You'll find some of my books there. My new book, The Beacon Star. That's kind of neat because I'm a self-publisher, so I look at sales. And I'm like, oh, I sold 1 book this week, and so now I'm looking at the Beacon Star, and I'm like, oh, I sold a copy in Germany and England and Belgium and, so many copies. And, oh, I'm going to actually get a royalty check. So I'm kind of excited about the Beacon Star. The Beacon Star does have a real world payoff for it. It's a book I've just been wanting to write my whole life, and I finally did it. So I do hope that catches on. But 3 Men in the Tub, I'm thinking about that's going to be my next writing project, is the sequel to 3 Men in the Tub. So that's my pitch for the end of the video. But the Blair Witch Project 2016 is on streaming sites. Highly recommended, especially if you're into the horror movies. Great date movie, maybe, because the jump scares will make people jump into each other's arms. Alright, this is Randy. I'm Starthinker. I'm signing off.